One day during a student leadership council meeting at my school, my teacher told us a very touching story that I will never forget. About 12 years ago, at the end of her last pregnancy, my teacher, Miss C, had a life-changing experience. She had been having some issues during that pregnancy, and the doctors were extremely concerned. She was only over a little 7 months pregnant, but the doctor told her that the baby had to be delivered immediately, or she and the baby may not have survived. After emergency surgery, the baby was successfully delivered via cesarean section. Then things started to go downhill. The baby, despite being almost 3 months premature, was able to be stabilized. Miss C, however, was not. Her platelets were dangerously low, and the doctors could not stop her from almost completely bleeding out on the operation table. So, to make a very long, terrifying story short, Miss C received 13 units of blood from a donor that day. Because of the selfless act of that donor, she continues to share her story with people everywhere today. Did you know that 4.5 million Americans would die each year if they did not receive a blood transfusion? That's more people than the entire population of the state of Oregon. 1 out of 10 people admitted into the hospital will need a blood transfusion. That could very well be you. It could be your family, your mother, your sisters, your brothers, your children, your sibling, or even one of your friends. Someone is in need of a transfusion every 2 seconds. That's the same amount of time it takes you to blink. Donating blood costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time. It is extremely important that everyone who is able to donate does so. I say that because less than 38% of the population is actually eligible to donate blood, and only 10% of people who can give blood actually do it. Think about it. Of course, some people receive blood transfusions and they are trauma patients, and some of them may have been in car accidents. But most recipients are cancer patients and people who suffer from congenital blood disorders like sickle cell anemia. How would you feel if it was your child or your family member suffering? Some people give blood, but only after a tragedy such as 9/11 occurs. They have good intentions, but this is not when blood is needed most. Did you know that after 9/11 was over, 200,000 units of blood were wasted? This was due to the rush of people trying to donate after the recent tragedy. Although these people had good intentions, most were turned away, or the blood they gave was wasted. There were so very few survivors after the attacks that only a small amount of blood was needed. And since the blood can only be stored for 42 days before expiring, the amount of blood wasted because of the flood of donators would have been enough to save 20,000 lives if it had been given throughout the year. This is why we must make it our business to give blood throughout the year and not just when disaster strikes. Some of you may be wondering, why would I want to give blood? Besides knowing that I'm helping someone, how is this benefiting me? Well, I'll tell you. There are so many good reasons to give blood. One of them is that by giving blood, you can actually reduce the risk of a heart attack. When you donate blood, it reduces the stickiness and thickness of your blood, allowing it to flow more easily, therefore reducing the chances of a heart attack by a substantial amount. Another good reason is your cancer risk. An excess of iron in the blood can lead to cancer, and giving blood reduces the amount of iron in your body. This is especially helpful if you consume a lot of red meat, because red meat is very high in iron. So by donating blood, you are not only giving life to cancer patients who are in dire need of transfusions, but you are also lowering your risk of getting cancer as well. The greatest benefit of donating has nothing to do with your physical health. It's an emotional benefit. Studies show that people who give blood on a regular basis live much happier lives because they have a feeling of purpose when they donate. In other words, giving is the greatest gift of all. Knowing that donating 1 pint of blood can save up to 3 lives is the greatest reward. So next time when you're out shopping or running errands and you see the Red Cross's mobile blood bank, or you pass a hospital that accepts donations, I hope that you make the choice to give life.